Okay, first, I did make that warning about graphic images for a reason because I'm going to show you a surgery picture that I have actually posted on my blog, but um, I need to show for illustration purposes for the, I guess, the story that I'm about to tell. Sorry, had to crack my knuckles. Nervous habit. I'm trying to make this as short as possible. I've tried 3 times. It always runs 20 minutes. I'm going to try to cut it down. Here's the skinny. Since the beginning of July, I've had trouble breathing. Beginning of July brought a lot of stress into my life. It also brought the reintroduction of Klonopin back into my rotation of medications just after I restarted both of my antibiotics at the same time. This is important to note. After my surgery that I had in April, which I haven't talked about here, but I've talked about on my blog, my doctor prescribed me Valium, my surgeon prescribed me Valium, another muscle relaxer, another benzodiazepine, for, bowel movement problems, basically, because there's so much scar tissue and there's so much muscle swelling and stuff, post-surgical, swelling and stuff, that I couldn't go to the bathroom regularly, and the Valium has actually helped, so I've been continuing to take it, as well as increasing the fiber in my diet, and that has helped. So, with that knowledge, I am going to be going to a consult on August 8th, which is like 2 weeks from today, or 2 weeks from like yesterday. Technically, because it's like 12:15 a.m. on Friday morning. My 30th birthday is 2 weeks from today. But I have a surgical consult on August 8th with a general surgeon who will be removing the scar tissue from my bowel after my obstetrics surgeon. I guess that's what you would call him, since he's removing my uterus after he gives me his hysterectomy. So now I've shown these pictures on my blog. The one that you guys actually need to be concerned with is this one. And this is my bladder, and this is my uterus. My uterus is actually supposed to be leaning over my bladder. You should not be able to see this chasm down here in the middle. This is my left ovary, which is going to be taken out because it's been engulfed by scar tissue, and the fallopian tube is actually wrapped around the ovary. My right ovary is trying to escape. The right ovary is remaining in, and the uterus is coming out, and the left fallopian tube and ovary are coming out. The right fallopian tube is also coming out. So I'm having a full hysterectomy, and all of the scar tissue is going to be taken out as well by the bowel surgeon. So I have a consult about that on the 8th. Sometime after that, I will be having my surgery. I don't know when. My OB surgeon and the general surgeon have to coordinate schedules for that. So I went to back to early July. A lot of stress happened, a lot of bad shit went down, and I started having a real problem with stamina and breathing. And it got so bad that on the 11th of July, I actually went to the ER at my boyfriend's insistence. My blood pressure was extremely low, and my pulse rate was extremely low, and I was having trouble breathing. And he said, you've got like several signs of female heart attack, so we are going to the ER. And I was like, it's not going to help, but okay, let's go to the ER. And I was right, it didn't help. And the reason I predicted it wouldn't help, and the reason that it ended up not helping, was because when they found out that I was being treated for Lyme disease, they instantly pegged me as a malingerer. Because according to the CDC, and thus, the general medical population of, this part of the country, Lyme disease does not exist in Tennessee. So they see people come in all the time complaining of fibromyalgia and things like that, drug seekers, and malingerers are basically time wasters. They've got, Munchausen's, or they have, hypochondria, or they just want to score some drugs or something, and they're a waste of hospital time and resources, and so they're not treated well. They're made to feel unwelcome so that, they don't come back. Well, I had a blood pressure cuff attached to my arm, I had a pulse oximeter attached to my finger, and they never turned the machine on while I was laying in the hospital bed. They took a chest x-ray, they did not take an EKG, they did not do an echocardiogram, they just took blood and took an x-ray of my chest. And the shortness of breath, the pain that I was feeling, whatever, they as soon as they learned I was being treated with Lyme, they just looked for structural abnormalities. They found none. My blood was fine, and they discharged me. And that was pretty crappy of them, honestly. The nurse practitioner was a horrible, redacted, not going to say the expletives that I have for her. She went from, oh, can I help you, to, oh, one of these, as soon as she learned that I was being treated for Lyme. So screw you to that nurse practitioner. But anyway, that same day, my Lyme doctor office finally called me back about the breathing issue, and they were like, go to the ER. And I said, I have already been. They weren't helpful. Thanks, though. And I just thought it was funny. So they said, well, if it happens again, I guess go to the ER. We don't know what else to tell you. And I thought, well, maybe babesia, blah, 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 whatever. Well, remember what I told you about the medicines that I was taking at the time. So I made an appointment to see my general practitioner's office, the nurse practitioner, in fact, that I like, because she's not a heinous, stupid biatch. She listens to me. She does call me on my BS. If I say something that's incorrect, she will, say, no. Okay, let me fill you in on what's really going on. I like her because she educates as well as listens, and that's my style. I love that. That's amazing. So I talked to her about the breathing problems. She agreed to do an EKG. I have the prettiest EKG ever. I asked for a copy in the EKG room, which I didn't know you were allowed to do until today, and my EKG is like perfect. So there's no structural abnormalities of my heart, as well as none that they could see on the x-ray that they did at the ER. So the breathing problem is not physiological from here to, and you can't see the bottom of my hand, but it's basically at my boobs, from the bottom of my throat to the base of my diaphragm. You can't, there are no structural abnormalities that would be causing this. But there's something that is causing my body to feel like I'm not getting enough air, even though my my oxsat, my oxygen saturation was 100%. So I talked to her a little bit about it, and I had thought about the clonazepam, the Klonopin, as being a culprit, but I didn't dwell on it for long, because I was like, well, I've taken it before. It shouldn't be a problem. Well, apparently with the Valium and with the potential brain swelling with the antibiotics, it has been a problem. So we both agreed to take me off the clonazepam, the Klonopin, because I was taking it for anxiety. Clearly, it's not working, because I've got so much stress in my life, and I feel overwhelmed and depressed and horrible all the time. And 0.5 milligrams of clonazepam twice a day is not doing a damn thing for it. And in fact, by depressing my respiratory system, by taking those benzodiazepines, it's making things worse. So we have agreed to go ahead and just cut that out completely. And I let her know that I was going to, be having the hysterectomy, and she was like, okay, good, because then we can get you off the Lortab, because that's the only reason I take Lortab is for my cramps. And I'm like, exactly. One less, potentially respiratory dampening medication out of my life, Also, a narcotic out of my life, because I don't want to be on narcotics. I don't want to take all these medications. Like, I only take the Lortab because I actually need it. And once my uterus is gone, I won't need it anymore. So fan-freaking-tastic, So anyway, we talked about that, and we agreed on that. And she said, give it a week. We'll see what happens. Let me know if nothing changes, and we'll see what else we can do. But I feel pretty good that this is something that is potentially going to be helpful, and I agree with her. I think that it will be, and I cannot believe that I didn't think about that more than I should have. But I'm going to blame it on stress, because I've been stressed out, and so I've been focusing on what's been going on rather than the possible causes that aren't organic. Perfect timing again. Lyme doctor's office called me when I got home from, my GP's office, and I am going to be taking only the metronidazole for the next week. Now, they gave me the choice. They said, just stick with one of your antibiotics for the next week and see if the breathing issues improve. Now, here's why I chose to stick with metronidazole instead of the doxycycline, which is actually the safer option. Metronidazole is not the safer option. Now, that's why I'm doing this, because the metronidazole is what caused the dysarthria, the voice change that I had. It has been shown to create lesions. It has been shown to affect breathing and things like that because it does affect your cerebellum. And if I don't have any improvement after a week of no doxycycline and no Klonopin, then I know that the metronidazole is my main culprit, and I'm going to have to request to switch antibiotics. So I made that decision consciously, knowing that I may not feel better, and a week is actually enough time for a change to happen. It took less than a week for my voice to go back to normal when I stopped taking, my antibiotics for that week. So I know it's possible, and I know that I can get results that fast. So that's what I'm doing. And they also said that I need to stop taking my antibiotics for 5 full days before my surgery, because the potential brain swelling plus general anesthesia equals bad times for everybody. So I actually got like decent, I had a decent phone conversation with, my Lyme doctor's nurse for once, and I hate to word it like that, but I always get better results when I get to go in to see him. But his office is like an hour away, and it's a pain in the ass to get there and stuff. So, and his schedule's busy. My next appointment with him isn't even until August 14th. So, what are you gonna do? So, that's the plan. So the good news is that there are no structural abnormalities of my lungs or my heart. That is good news. My blood work, great. My oxygen saturation is 100%. I am getting enough air. There's something that my brain is telling my lungs that I'm not getting enough air, whether it's because of, depression of my respiratory system due to too many benzodiazepines, that remains to be seen, or whether it's because of my antibiotics, that remains to be seen. We're going to work on that. And then I'm going to have my surgery, and I'm going to have my uterus removed, and I'm going to be broke. But hopefully that will remove one more major issue from my life, because having a period in addition to having Lyme is like double whammy for me, because my periods are terrible. Clotting, and you saw the pictures, scarring everywhere, and the nurse practitioner actually looked at that picture and was like, yeah, that explains a lot, and I was like, and thank you, because she was actually the one who originally prescribed the Lortab for my cramps, because she believed me that there was something seriously wrong. And I said, I don't know what it is, I have no idea what it is, but something bad is going on down there, and nothing that I'm doing is helping. And because I was taking like every NSAID at once, like Aleve and ibuprofen and Tylenol, like all of them at once. And she's like, no, here, have Lortab, basically. And so she was the one who initiated that. And so to show her that picture, and for her to finally see, oh, yeah, that explains a lot. That felt really good to be able to, give her that satisfaction, I guess, of knowing that she was actually helping me, rather than me just being like, oh God, it hurts, give me drugs, So that felt good. And, getting the EKG and everything, and she listened to me and my concerns, and she is the only reason I'm sticking with that doctor's office, basically. But that's, oh my God, less than 15 minutes, and I've gotten through the bulk of it. So we'll see what happens over the next week. A lot of other stuff has been going down, but this was the crux of it. This is what I wanted to get out. I wanted to let you guys know that I am okay. Structurally, my body's fine. We're figuring this out. We're going to figure this out. And I'm going to try to be more positive, because I've been really depressed the past couple of weeks, really. And because I've lost a lot with not being able to breathe. I've lost a lot of my mobility. I've lost the ability to sing very well at all. I have no breath support at all, and I'm supposed to have a gig on August 18th or 17th, whatever. It's a Saturday night. I wouldn't be able to do it if this continues. So I'm hopeful that it stops so that I can sing, So anyway, I will keep you guys updated, and thanks for sticking with me for 15 minutes, and I will talk to you soon, and I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend. Thanks again. Bye.